you a question, you get to tell us. If you get to complete whatever question is, tell us whether it's true or false, or finish up the statement according to the highway code. Zim Classic car is also coming up. And of course, we're going to see which car is better. We've been having the Toyota Yaris over the last few weeks doing the most, beating everybody in its league. We're going to see what we have coming up later a little bit today. Firstly, let's talk about what's been happening in terms of car news. Let me introduce our guest, which you probably know by now, Tafatswa Nyabuta. He is a marketing officer, but by day, I think he doubles up. I'm just kidding. He is our favorite marketer, loves all things to do with cars. Having worked over 10 years in the car industry, he's the go-to guy when you want to buy a car, specifically luxury cars. But on this show, we're talking all kinds of cars. And he's not alone. We also have our favorite automotive engineer.
Yes.
Our SG,
Yes,
Secretary General, coming in from the Spinners Association of Zimbabwe. Lance Philip Ngwenya comes in head-to-head, pitting up against our favorite car marketer coming from Zimoko, and also he who loves Zim Classic cars, and we're going to see which car is better. But first, let's take a look at what's been happening in the car industry. Hyundai Envision 74, a retro-inspired looking car. What's that about?
Yes. So this vehicle looks retro. It is retro, but everything underneath the hood is not retro. So we've mentioned this before. Hyundai has been talking about hydrogen fuel cell technology in their vehicles as an alternative to electric energy. The whole world is talking about going electric cars this, electric car that, hybrid electric, full-on electric. But Hyundai seems to think that it's hedging its bets on hybrid fuel technology. So the Envision 74 is a performance vehicle that is due to be launched in 2026. It was due to be launched in 2025, but then of course, with this type of new technology, you can expect some delays. It will be launched officially, according to the rumors anyway, in 2026. Now, this vehicle is very interesting because it uses hydrogen fuel cell technology as the power source for the vehicle, or the energy source for the vehicle, which can be recharged from 0 to 80% in about 5 minutes. Like a typical car. Fine, the process is a little bit slower, but you go to a fuel station, you get your hydrogen gas, it's pumped in in about 5 minutes, and you got a full tank, and off you go. Now, let's talk about what makes this interesting. So the hydrogen fuel cell technology, what it does essentially is it mixes with oxygen and generates electricity. So this powers electric motors on the vehicle's wheels, which provides power. Now, they've gone a step further for this vehicle because it is a performance vehicle. They've made hydrogen fuel cell technology available in it, and essentially have made it a hybrid by putting a big battery pack as well, which also boosts up the power in the vehicle so that this car can do a very impressive 0 to 100 speed in just under 4 seconds. That's supercar territory. And its range is anything but superpower. If you know anything about vehicles, especially big engine cars, performance vehicles, your Ferraris, Lamborghinis, a full tank won't get you 600 kilometers. No way. But this one will. So this one will. And it now says, listen, do we have a new technology that might be available if Hyundai can actually sharpen its pencils and actually make hydrogen fuel cell technology work to such a point that it will work for a supercar. And they chose a supercar first to prove that it can work in the high performance sector. Then they'll dumb it down to put it in everyday vehicles, which means that we might have an alternative to electric cars. I think that's very interesting, but they have to prove that it works and it's reliable first.
I'm just, sorry to cut you, I'm just wondering as we're talking about hydrogen fuel cells, how widely available and accessible would this technology be, and also the infrastructure that's needed for us to be able to invest in us being able to have hydrogen fuel cells in our cars.
So the technology is new, which means new stuff is expensive. And it's very technical, highly technical. I mean, hydrogen is the most abundant element around right now. So which means its source we don't have to argue about that. The byproduct of this engine is water. So again, there's no emissions or any concerns for the environment. But the technology itself, to set up the infrastructure, to reconfigure it, to make it viable, is very expensive. But if they pull it off, and they pull it off in such a way that it works, and they tip the economies of scale for this type of technology in terms of building vehicles, it'll start to become cheaper. Think of electric vehicles. When they were first launched, oh wow, Elon Musk had a challenge those things were expensive. They were very niche. But now, I mean, you can throw a brick even here in Harare, and you hit a hybrid electric vehicle, which means that this technology starts to filter down and becomes cheaper. So they're hedging their bets. It's a big gamble, but let's see what happens. If it works, it works.
Yeah, until things become cheaper, what are the sort of costs that we're talking about here that are associated with us being able to produce, to be able to store, to transport, you know, hydrogen fuel cells here? What are we talking about here?
Big numbers. We're talking big numbers. Let me tell you why. So Hyundai has focused on 2 vehicles to prove this technology. One was commercial vehicles. Their big push actually started in commercial vehicles.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot. If you actually get to see, and I encourage people to go and Google what these commercial vehicles used to look like. They have what looks like gas cylinders in the back, and essentially it doesn't take too much away from the functionality of the car, the practicality of the vehicles. I mean, the commercial car has to be able to pull loads, but then go to where it needs to fuel up. These are big things for just 1 or 5 cars because they're concepts. And now imagine all this big infrastructure just to power 5 vehicles, how technical it is to move the fuel there. It's very expensive, which is why it's very much at the exploration stage.
Got you. Lance, in terms of viability, then looking at the cost implication that Tap has just explained, how will this actually compare to our EVs and our combustion engines that we're still using?
Yeah. So I have to agree with Taf here. It's going to be really expensive. But look, growing up, we used to do research about this hydrogen. Actually, this concept came way before the electric vehicle initiation, right? I've seen in the 90s, Mercedes-Benz did a couple of hydrogen vehicles, and it was a different technology because the integration of those, what you call it, electric motors wasn't there. There's actually a direct drive, something like that. So I personally feel it's something that we can bank on for now, but shelf it at the same time. And we see as we grow and grow the technology and you know, implement it into our day-to-day lives. But
so you're saying we're going to be moving with our gas tanks essentially in the car?
That's the hope. I think.
Well, yes and no. Yeah.
The stigma. I think the fear is coming from those tanks.
Yeah.
Because basically, talking about gas.
Right.
But it's not.
And car and stuff. But the same thing is with batteries. Your car is also loaded with lithium and stuff.
Right.
So potentially hazardous as well.
Or if you go to just your normal petrol vehicle, petrol is highly combustible. You know.
It's flammable, but gas, guys, gas.
So yeah, it is what it is. Look, we have to, because now look, remember we had petrol cars, we had diesel cars, and the ethanol cars, flex fuel cars as well. So now when we have this electric EV coming in, right? I think we also need to have an alternative from the conventional electric, because I'm trying to say,
correct.
You know,
and also to add a spanner to the works as well. If people are concerned about hydrogen gas in your vehicle, remember there are cars moving around in the world right now that use LPG gas as the energy source to propel the vehicles. Yes.
Gas
Yeah. A version of that, of course, to be a more higher propane. I think it's propane isn't the burning point is a bit higher. But there's actually cars. I think in Australia they still have a very large fleet of taxis.
Yes.
These are public taxis that actually use this fuel
LPG,
for moving their taxis around, and it proves to be cheaper. The drawback is that the cars won't be as fast, but they're happy with that because how fast do you want a taxi to go?
Exactly.
Got you. And in terms of just the design of the car, I'm trying to imagine where this hydrogen fuel cell is being stored or how.
The cars will tend to be bigger. I've seen most cars which they've used for experiments. I've seen sedans, the bigger sedans, right? And most of the boot space is taken, and the underneath of the car is also taken by the whole process of the hydrogen processing. So I think it's going to be bigger vehicles. Hence, it's going to make sense with the commercial trucks. Yeah. You know, it's a big truck. Then it's got the even those buses. I've seen those. The buses have got an undercarriage, a big storage place for that. I think it will work better with a bigger car.
Yes, and that's one of the drawbacks of this technology. Yes. It makes the vehicle heavy. So then performance is hampered. So you have to get very clever about how you can still bring out the performance and still bring economies of scale to fueling up the vehicle.
0719-10404, as you listen to this, would you be keen on trying a hydrogen-powered car as the alternative to EVs or even combustion engines? 0719-10404. We've been looking over the last few weeks, trouble that Toyota has been in, and this trouble does not seem to be going away. Recently, they had over 100,000 units being recalled because of faulty airbags, which may not inflate properly during a crash. That's the last thing you want, right? When you're in an accident and that thing does not blow up, does not inflate. That can be a problem. And Toyota is recalling certain Lexus models from 2018 to 2020. It's Zuro,
Yeah, and some of the newer models in terms of 2024 models, 2023 models, in terms of some of the SUV models. But we are lucky. These vehicles that have been affected are for the North American market. So here in Africa, we haven't had any real issues with that. But it brings about a very important issue of recalls. Now, airbag recalls are not uncommon. Yes, it's very unfortunate that Toyota, like you were saying, has been very naughty the past few weeks. And then it all has to do around safety concerns, which is where people start to open their eye. But the supplier of these same airbags, it impacted VW, it impacted Honda, and like you said, Lexus as well. So the supplier had an issue in their production, which tapered down to when they were fitted in, and then these problems were caused. I think the biggest thing that people should take away from this are that recalls are something that's not scary. The vehicles and the airbags still work, albeit not to the standards that they want them to work. And again, it's not all of them. You see, what happens is that it's a bad batch. Some are affected, but not all. But of course, being the car industry and how they treat these things, they have to recall all the vehicles, and it's fixed. Recalls happen all the time. All biggest brands and everything, you'll be surprised. Brakes, airbags seem to be very common, unfortunately. But you can find something like even indicator switches are recalled, and it's fixed for free. Remember, so that's not a cost to the consumer.
I don't like the sound of this. But so, what are some of the potential consequences, lads, if you are in this car and that end airbag does not inflate during a crash?
From a personal point of view, with an airbag, it's a touch and go situation. Sometimes it saves you. Sometimes it actually, kills you. So they've been trying to improve this airbag technology. But I like what you guys will be talking about. Listen, Toyota is not making these airbags, right? The people who are actually making airbag companies, just like shock companies and stuff. So this recall, I personally feel it's totally unfair for Toyota. I think they should have just charged the manufacturer of the airbag.
But isn't the issue that they have safety tests? And the problem is Toyota has been faking safety tests. Daihatsu is on record right now with thousands of recalls because they faked results.
Okay.
So now nobody trusts them in that sense.
Do you believe in conspiracy theories?
Yes.
Okay, let me just be honest with you.
If Toyota was black, we'd say because it's a
it's because it's Toyota. Because look, if you look at it from even the 70s, I've been following motor trends from since I was a kid. Back in the day, there used to be the fast motorcycles, the Triumphs and stuff, right? Then Japan came into the mix with the Hayabusas and all that stuff. So what then happened is certain laws were now being put in to curb this because of the popularity. You can't deny the fact that Toyota has been taking over the world in terms of car sales and stuff. So European standards and American standards are going to come in and they're going to pounce on them. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
They will pounce on them because if you look,
You agree it's a conspiracy theory?
Not that it's a conspiracy, but I agree with what some of what Lance is saying. Let me tell you why. Toyota is number one in the world. They're the biggest car manufacturer in the world in terms of brand. Number one in lots of markets, including America as well. Africa, Australia. They are a massive company. So you are the biggest. You are the top dog. You have the biggest bull's eye on you. Everyone's always gunning for you every time you make a mistake. And what they want to hurt is the perception of your brand so that they can eat into some of your sales.
But the problem is, with what we were saying with Daihatsu, Toyota knew that they were faulty, and it is said that they misrepresented the information. That's what the issue is here is, as far as Toyota is concerned.
It's all according to what? To a certain criteria, right? Daihatsu, do you know it's part of Toyota?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're taking over the world, like I said. If you go to America, even the American trucks.
They lied, lads. The issue is not that they had problems.
Technically.
They knew. They knew the results, and they cooked the books.
No, okay, so let me give you something. I need you to highlight something.
Okay.
If you notice brake horsepower, there's DIN horsepower as well. So they got various measures of horsepower settings. So when Toyota did their horsepower on certain cars, right? For instance, I'll give you an example. They could have done maybe, let's say this guy's got 200 horsepower, right? It having 200 horsepower, then they come and say, you lied that this guy's got 200 horsepower. Actual fact, it's got 198 horsepower. No, this is just a
Did
variation
they
of G.
lie?
No. When the Standard Association maybe will be saying Makanyepa.
Did
Was
they
the two
lie?
horsepower.
is the
Technically,
question.
yes.
Yes.
Technically, yes.
Knowingly. Did they lie knowingly?
Yeah, so technically, yes.
Yeah, and
But,
and this is where they're being crucified, if you ask me. 0719-10404, looking into this issue, how do you think car makers like Toyota can make sure that they are putting safety at the top of their list, and also that they're preventing recalls like that they're having to experience, so that Lance and Taff don't have to come and defend it with sabotage theories? And also, just wondering, when we're looking at regulatory agencies that are involved in this, what role are they supposed to be playing in safety here? Because Toyota, this is since the 70s, like you said, that these results have been messed with.
The honest truth is, European standards and American standards, when it comes to safety, this is the biggest, thing. And any manufacturer or anyone who's making a motor car, the first thing you need to consider is safety. Right. So it becomes a statutory instrument that you need to have certain safety devices on a car. Right. Now that statutory instrument just because it's like motor now imagine 30 years into developing a certain mark or a certain model of a car. Right. You say good motor 1.3 or 2.5 meters. Yeah. It's no longer safe. Cars now need to be 4 meters longer or something like that. I'm not saying that's what they. So you see, it's an issue because now you can't just all of a sudden stop. You have to transition into what? Into the regulations. So this is where they're being caught.
And then in the meantime, you get just falsified details.
So now if you notice, if you look at any car carrier, even if you just car carrier will put about 90% of the cars are Toyota.
Got you.
That's got a ruffle feathers, you know? Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'll put this one out to you as you're listening in. Do you think that this is a sabotage effort against Toyota? But also, what do you think car makers can actually do to make sure that safety remains top of their list? 0719-100-404. Let's take a look at what's been happening locally. So lots of road rehabilitation has been happening. I'm sure you're very aware that the government, through the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure Development, has actually accelerated quite a few road construction and maintenance along our major highways. I'm sure you've been seeing Mount Hampton area. I'm sure you've seen the 6-kilometer boulevard from what's that road? Okay, I've just had a brain freeze there, but yes, all the way to. But is this Makandi? I think it's got a new name now.
Yeah.
Nemakonde.
It's its new name. I think it's got a new name now. Yeah. But we've been seeing, the new boulevard to the new Parliament building. I'm sure you've been seeing upgrading of Old Mazoe Road, including a new bridge. There's also road construction on Harare Drive to Bindura, dual carriageway on Samiyoma. I'm sure you've been seeing Mount Pleasant, Bordo receiving upgrades. Shurugwi road construction is also, Shurugwi Mandam Mabre is also receiving road reconstruction. Marondera Wedza, wow, there's a lot of road work that's happening. And in Harare, Taff, Avondale, Belgravia, Mount Pleasant. If you're living in that area, this must be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Harare Drive as well, this side.
Yeah, there's construction going on there.
Yes.
Yeah. Yay. And getting around must be fun lately.
Yeah, I think getting around for most people in these, we'll call them affected areas, has been challenging, especially at peak times when there's peak volumes of traffic on the roads. Everyone wants to get home early and comfortably, especially in this weather. But when delays happen, people get a bit irritated. Maybe people start taking the wrong approach to getting home, and it delays the whole process. And fair and fine, we're happy that the roads are being done. But we also hope that, when everything is said and done as well, all these alternative routes as well are also addressed, because if you do go on these routes, you actually see a lot of damage. And it's going to be interesting to see, if there's some patchwork or some repair work done to these alternative route roads that have been used to these major centers. Because if one was to go and have a look at the traffic volumes in some places that are being repaired or fixed, the alternative routes that is, there's a lot of roads for what may appear to be small roads. Yeah. So we just hope that they get the necessary due care and attention afterwards as well. And it's good to see that the roads are improving, and the big ones and the small ones. It'll be very nice.
Yeah. My question is, the sustainability of this reconstruction. There are several roads that we've seen over the years that have had major rework. Look at them now. They don't look like they were redone in the last 10 years. My question would be, what do you think needs to be done to make sure that our roads are not just reconstructed, but they are sustainably
Maintained.
reconstructed. So
Yeah.
whether it's the road markings or the road quality, some roads are surprising. I'm sure you know the road I'm talking about, right? Left side and they fix that, and
So-
we love that.
So I personally think, look, just like even a house, you maintain your house. These roads are
Yeah.
being used. It's not like these roads are being repaired and left unused. Yeah? There's so much traffic in Harare. Let's be honest. So I think a maintenance schedule is needed, and like I like the way they're doing certain roads. Certain roads are actually now being integrated into the system. So I think we're going to be having alternatives. And Harare has already got a very good road network. So many small roads, like what you were saying, so many side roads and stuff that you can use. So I think it's just a matter of plan it'll be easier on you. But let's just give these guys the table.
Yeah. So you've just brought up something also very important there. And I think part of the condition that's caused on our road is we don't know that the road is closed ahead.
Exactly.
There's not enough notification for us to know that there's going to be a detour or that usashansa road yavalwa. There's one where it literally just says you literally 50 meters road closed.
Yeah.
What was Shika?
I think now it's accelerated repair. I don't know what's happening, but it's accelerated repair. Unfortunately, we are being surprised actually. I was actually coming off Churchill's recently. But over road, woman place and the second extension.
Yeah.
It was on Sunday. So yeah, I think now they just need to have a website or on the radios live. They just keeps on updating.
That's true. Yes.
Dara would see in the newspaper with this lane is being closed, and unfortunately we're not buying newspapers anymore.
Yeah.
It's all electronic, and we're selecting what we want to read about. But I think it's our responsibility as road users to actually look for information.
So I want to pose this question to you if you're listening in. If you were to receive a notification about a road closure, what do you think would be the best way for you to actually know that the road is closed? Is it the paper? Is it on social media? Is it on radio? Is it a phone call? Let me know. What do you think would be the best way for us to actually know about the road closures that are coming our way on time? I'm also bringing this up because earlier we were talking in the first hour about the climate change management bill that's coming in. A lot of people don't even know that that conversation is going on, but it was published in the press. So the question is the communication between government agencies adequate with us? Are we exhausting all the communication channels that are out there? I want to know from you, what would be the best way to let you know that there is a road closure? 8447 Seke Road, Nemakonde. Oh, that's what Loma Gandhi is called now. 2nd Street, Robert Mugabe. On Tuesday, you said it took you 3 hours on the road to get home, right? And once you're in there, you're stuck. Oh my, I stay in Mount Pleasant Heights. Harare Drive is insane. If you don't leave the office by 3:30, you're in trouble. Please, may they also fix, and I think this is what you were saying, Taf, may they also fix alternative small roads that we are using. There is serious damage, and as residents, we are appealing to Infrastructural Development Bank to look into this. We are grateful, but let's know that this should not be an event, but an ongoing process. I love this.
Yeah, that's good.
You also said I received a WhatsApp message, and that was very helpful.
That's good.
Who WhatsApped you? This is fascinating. It stated the roads
You want to
being...
be on that group?
Thank you. Yeah, we want to join this group. And it stated the roads being closed and duration. It also had tips on alternative route. Wow, what group is this?
Wow.
We need the intel to this group. Yeah, and shout out to whoever is actually then coordinating this communication, because that's exactly what we need on this issue. A quick question. I'm just noticing quite a few of our roads have been changed. Names.
Yes.
Loma Gandhi is now called Nemakonde. Did you realize that Golden Stairs has also been renamed? 0719-100-404. Let's see if you know the name of Golden Stairs Road. It's also been renamed. during these words. 8369, good morning. Dewey in Harare Jikanzi. You said radio at news time and WhatsApp. I guess you're saying this would be the great time, the best time for you or effective way for you to receive communication about roadworks. News time and WhatsApp. Okay, got you. 0719 100 404. What do you think is the best way for you to receive comms about stuff that's happening on our road? Roadworks, detours, etc, etc. Let us know. 0719 100 404. Another bus caught fire recently.
Yeah.
Yay.
And this time I'm happy that there's no fatalities and minimal injuries, which is good.
Yeah.
I think I'm hoping, anyway, without all the information, that the guys did the right things. The guys operators did the right things to get people out properly. It's good to hear that at least there was a happy story to it. Sad the loss of a bus, but happy that there was no loss of life.
That's good news. Again, what are we doing to make sure that we have fire drills and we know exactly what we need to do in case of a fire? All right, so today we're supposed to be talking about ABS.
Yes.
We've got 15 minutes left.
Okay, so
shoot, let's talk to us about ABS.
ABS, when you talk about ABS on a motor vehicle, we're talking about the anti-lock braking system, right? This is a device, or should I say it's a system that's been implemented in motor vehicles to help steer the car under emergencies. So picture this. What's a brake motor skid? Some motor binding skid, your wheels are like what? Sliding, right? So even if you turn your steering left or right, your car is going to keep on going straight, simply because your wheels are locked.
Right.
So what the ABS system does, it momentarily releases the wheels at intervals where, like, it helps you to steer the car, right? But it does not compromise the braking distance as well. Right. So how it works, it's got there's the wheel, right? Panama brake patch. Then we've got a sensor on the wheel. It's called the ABS sensor. And there's also a sender unit on the wheel. Then we've got a control unit. Then we've got the braking system being controlled by the computer box. So ABS was first like patented Gudara on locomotives. You see my trains, they've got those solid wheels, right?
Right.
So when they used to brake, they used to lock and the train wouldn't stop.
Slides.
So they devised the situation whereby it would momentarily apply pressure until the train stopped. So a certain guy managed to implement that into the motor vehicle. It's around 1978.
Right.
This guy was working for Fiat, right? And later sold the technology to Bosch. Hence Bosch named it to ABS.
Right.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Common problems with ABS, lads.
When you're changing your shocks, sometimes you damage your sensor. Once you damage your sensor, your car has got no input. Hence, when you apply the brakes, your car skids out and accidents happen. So you need to take extra care when you're servicing your car, your brakes, and your shocks as well.
0719 100 404. If you have any questions looking into your ABS, let us know what that question is.
And just on ABS as well, what I've noticed through work is people don't know when the ABS is active or when it's on, under normal braking circumstances. So ABS can activate if you're on a surface that's slightly slippery, rocky, or has maybe loose gravel on it. And most people will hear it and think there's something wrong with their car. It makes a very loud grinding noise, like
a jar.
so there's nothing wrong with your brakes or your car.
Right.
Is the ABS actually working? Because it's opening and closing the brakes about 10 times in a second. So clamping, releasing, clamping, releasing. So there's nothing wrong with your brakes. But just be aware that it's probably the ABS. So that's something I would maybe tell listeners, listen, be aware of that. If you hear a noise like that here and then, it could be your ABS and not necessarily anything wrong with your brakes at all.
Warning light on the dash when ABS comes on. It's the one that just says ABS.
Yes. So with that warning light, it's an amalgamation of a lot of things. When that light comes on, I suggest you go to your service provider, module of a machine, then you see what it is. Because it could be a faulty sensor, it could be a faulty wire, it could be low ATF, low brake fluid, something or excessive wear on your brake pads as well. So that light just illuminates and it tells you to just go and what? Get your car checked.
There is also much newer technology as far as ABS is concerned.
Yes, there is.
What is it looking like now?
It is like we were saying that now our braking systems are now electronically actuated. Like when you put pressure on your brake pedal, the computer actually senses the urgency of the braking system. That it works in tandem with what? With the ABS unit and the control unit, and it also looks at kuti mavhiri utena speed yakati, apply pressure yakati say and all that.
I think that if I'm correct, I'm wrong, Lance, but that's like when it's EBD, electronic brake
Exactly.
distribution.
Yes, exactly.
So that's working like electronic to make sure that each wheel is getting the right amount of
exactly.
braking power.
And it all works with the ABS unit as well. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I was just checking with you. Do you now know the new name of Golden Stairs Road? It's been renamed. I've just also learned what Loma Gandhi Road is here, and I think quite a few roads have been renamed. As we're also talking about ABS, let us know if you have any common problems that you're facing with your ABS and you'd like our specialist to come in and address that. Also, highway code question for the day, Taf.
Yes. So this one, last week I was, people were very angry at me because it was a 3-part answer. You had to give me all 3 scenarios to be correct. But this time I've become a little bit liberal. And I've created a scenario that actually exists in the highway code. And the scenario is this. You're driving on a single carriageway, was one lane facing one way and the other lane facing the other direction, where the national speed limit applies. Let's say 120 kilometers per hour, or if you're within town, 60 or 80, depending where you are. You see a sign indicating a school zone ahead. So this might be on a highway, and you're doing highway speeds around 20.
Right.
And you see there's a school coming up. And there's also parked cars on the side of the road opposite your lane, so the opposite side of you, potentially with children who might come out and exit and cross the road. The question is, how should you adjust your driving according to the Zimbabwe Highway Code? What does it suggest?
Yay.
So you need to read your highway code.
Yay. And 0719100404. Our Zim Classic Car of the Week, Lance. What does that look like?
So our Zim Classic Car of the Week, it's a very common car from Willowville. It was a dream car of a lot of people who were working. And it's got a nickname, car box.
Right, I think I already know what that is. 0719100404. Let us know if you can tell what the name of that Zim Classic car is, but also if you can also fill in the blanks to Taf's rather tough, I think. Well, maybe I'm just filling the blanks. But can you tell what the highway code question is? My WhatsApp seems to be stuck, and I can see your contributions in terms of how you want to be notified in terms of communication, especially to do with detours and road construction. We were talking about ABS, Lance. Are there different types of ABS?
Yes, how it is, we can't just say different types of ABS, but over the years, technology has changed the type of ABSs.
Right.
Because back in the 70s, 80s, they were more of a relay type. When I say relay type, they were more like analog. They had actuators and pressure sensors and stuff. Right. As time went on, the transistorized technology, the computer was now controlling the ABSs. Right. So as time went on, I think it's just a time warp thingy. The initial ABSs were totally hydraulic. As time went on, electric hydraulic situations were implemented in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm imagining that, like many components on the car, there are parts to the ABS system, right?
Yes.
And knowing which part is what may help also tell what's gone wrong with your ABS system.
Exactly. So how the anatomy of an ABS system is, we've got the sensors at the wheel, we've got the sender units at the wheels, right? We've got the wiring for the sensors, then we've got the ABS units in itself. And sometimes it's called an EDC. This thing is what is then transferring all the fluid from the brake master cylinder to the wheels, right? And that unit also does the momentary release of the wheels and stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, we've got your computer, we've got the ABS unit, we've got the sensor and the sender unit.
Right. And any one of those components can give you
fail.
problems.
No, yeah, all those components can fail, and you just need to get your service provider to tell you what.
So let's say the sensor is the one that's faulty.
Yes.
What are you likely to experience?
First and foremost, either the sensor is gone or the cable is snapped.
Right.
So either you replace the sensor or you repair the cable itself. Usually when people change shocks, especially in the area, I've seen situations whereby the mechanic actually ignores the cable sensor.
Yeah.
So you're putting your shocks, you're stretching the assembly out, the electric cable stretches, it breaks from within, then you got no sensor there.
Got you.
Yeah.
Taf, can you just repeat to us the highway code question for the day, and then our Zim Classic car of the day as well, and then we quickly get into which car is best?
No problem at all. So you're driving along the highway, and you come across, you pass a sign indicating there's a school zone ahead. According to the Zimbabwean Highway Code, what should be the corrective driving behavior you should do in that scenario.
0719-100-404. Lance, remind us again what the clue is for our Zim Classic car.
Zim Classic car of the day. It's a 90s car that came in, took over. It was it had metallic colors, and people usually call it car box.
Do all cars have ABS, Lance?
Not all cars have got ABS, but of late, standard has been put in that every car needs to have ABS.
If it does not have ABS, how does it respond? How would your car respond in an emergency?
The brakes are hard, the tough, as in the braking distance also compromise as well,
right?
As compared to the modern car.
Okay.
So you need to experience both the car with the ABS and the car that doesn't have the ABS.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as you are, typing in there, our car for today is our Yaris. Is it Toyota Yaris?
Yes, it is.
What is it up against this week?
It's going against the Mazda Demio.
Mazda Demio. All right. So let's look at the boot capacity. What we're looking at in terms of the Mazda Demio.
The Demio has 255 liters.
And the Toyota Yaris.
I already won this one.
Yeah.
286 again. I feel
that
confident.
Got you. All right. Let's look at the transmission of the Mazda Demio.
Mazda Demio has got the 4-speed and 5-speed automatic gearbox as well as a CVT gearbox. Yeah.
And the Yaris, we know from previous conversations, is like what?
4-speed automatic and then a 5-speed manual. So I'm glad they got the CVT, a bit more efficient on the Demio.
Right. So the Demio takes this one.
Yes.
I think so.
Looking at the drivetrain, what are we looking at in terms of the Demio? We know that Toyota, the Yaris is what, 1.5 liter, 4 inline?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Demio, it's got the 1.1 liter all the way to the 1.5 liter. So it also shares the same platform as the Mazda 2.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we're looking in terms of the engine capacity, what we're looking at in terms of the Demio?
The Demio is with the 1.5 liter and a 1.1 liter engine all the way to 1.5 liter engine.
Right. And the Yaris, do we have as much variety?
Not as much variety. 1.5 is the standard, but you can get in some markets a 1.2 liter engine. So let's talk about 1.5 liter, what we get here.
Fuel tank capacity of the Yaris is what, 42 liters?
Yes, it is, yeah.
And our Demio?
Mazda 2 is 45 liters.
It's 45. Okay, that one, it takes that one. And when we're looking at the interior of the Demio, what can we expect from Mazda?
Look, the Mazda trims I've seen, to me, they're okay as compared to the Mazda, the Toyota.
Yeah.
Now the Toyota has something up there as well. They've got that the GR version. It's got the base trim. It's got a nice trim.
Are we looking at what is it plasticky on the inside? Does it have?
It's actually a combination of everything. But the fabrics are good.
Okay.
The fabrics are good. I haven't seen a leather. There is a leather version, but I haven't seen it. But I've seen the cloths. The cloths are quite good.
Yaris, what do you have in terms of your interior?
No, very basic cloth interior. It's a Toyota interior, so nothing wow, but very functional and practical.
So who takes this one? Is it Mazda or is it Toyota?
I would say the Mazda.
I would also say the Mazda, a bit more modern.
All right, that's fine. And when we're looking at the ride and drive, how does the Demio do?
Yeah, the Demio is quite good. Look, the suspension of the car is actually quite big for a small car. I've worked on one, and I can vouch for that. And it shares the same platform as a Mazda 3. Yeah, so you would say it's slightly more comfortable. Not knowing the Yaris.
I love to agree.
Yeah.
More room in his bigger car. I think the chassis is a bit bigger, so it just has to be more comfort.
So it looks like you're giving this one to the Demio.
just that point. Yes.
All right. And in terms of comfort, then the ride and drive, you're saying the Demio takes it. What about the comfort on the inside? Can I stretch my legs? Is the person sitting at the back comfortable in the Yaris?
I don't like the fact that you looked at me when you asked that question, but I have to give it to the Demio. Again, it comes down to the fact it's a slightly bigger car. So bigger car means there's a lot more leg and shoulder room.
This is not good. And when we're looking at the top speed of the Yaris,
175 kilometers per hour is the
The
maximum.
Mazda Demio is 171.
just
There's a
like
claimed.
Hey, listen.
this is Toyota after all.
It could be more.
We've
Who
seen
knows?
what Toyota can do, haven't we? All
It could be.
And
It
in
could
terms
actually be
of
more.
0 to 100, how much is the Yaris doing?
The Yaris is doing 0 to 100 in 9.75 seconds.
Okay.
Just around the same things. It's doing 0 to 100 in 9.5 as well.
All right. So when we're looking at maintenance of your Demio, how easy is it to run?
Look, Toyota is always better in terms of Toyota works with spare parts. So many parts. I'll give it to the Mazda.
Okay.
So the Demio is strong, and recently there's been more parts in town. But we're talking from the local market aspect. But the Toyota has always been better in terms of
Got you.
of maintenance.
Got you. And in terms of cost, how much are we looking at to import this Demio? Why are you smiling, Lance?
Apparently the Demio is slightly more expensive.
Yeah.
It's actually more expensive. I'm not going to say the price.
Okay. You know the Yaris is sitting at about what, 15,000? Is that the
Yeah.
landed price?
Yeah, if you're looking at that, they're looking at the newer ones, less mileage ones, you're looking about 15. But if you're looking at one that's done a bit more mileage, you're looking around
Hold
6.
on, and you're saying the Demio costs more than a
I've
Toyota
seen
Yaris?
some are going for 22.
What?
Yeah, something like that. So yeah.
What?
Yeah.
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 Sheesh. Okay, that's fine.
bit
And
of
after sales, so after sales quality, then what are we looking at in terms of the Demio? If you've landed it at 22,000.
Look, Toyota don't take us any day, anytime. You know?
Okay.
That's
All
it.
right.
That's
So,
the truth.
what is the verdict? 0719-10404. As you've been listening in, which car do you think takes a cup? So you were saying the best way you think government must communicate in terms of road construction and details for you is information through radio and TV, which are most accessible and affordable for the general public. You also said Golden Says is now Sam Nioma. No, it is not Sam Nioma. Thanks, Safaza, for an attempt. You also sent us a notification that was released in your neighborhood group by the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development in conjunction with Exodus Company and Lube, I think it says Lube Barrow, and they sent that in your WhatsApp group. Okay, that's great. I wish we could also be part of your WhatsApp group. And you said you got this from your WhatsApp, Capitalk WhatsApp group. That's interesting. Aha, so this person has the list of the new names of the roads, but you didn't answer the question now. You said put notices on radio and councillors should be put notices on radios. You said councillors and they should put on community WhatsApp groups. So it looks like WhatsApp, radio and TV are the major contributions. 4220151. 30 seconds left. Lance, what is the name of the car?
Nissan Sunny.
Congratulations to you, 0151. You hadn't finished, sorry.
Yeah, Nissan Sunny box, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
got
HB11, HB12.
8519, you got it correct. 0151. We're still waiting for your verdict. Which one do you think is the better car, the Demio or the Yaris? We've got to go to the news. George is asking, what if you apply emergency brakes? The vehicle does not stop. Does this apply with pressure, which I would have used on the brakes for it not to stop?
Sometimes it's a fault in the system.
Sometimes it's a fault in the system. All right, and your answer to your highway code question is?
Reduce your speed, increase the following distance between cars, and prepare to stop.
All right, and nobody came through and got that one right. And yes, I was going to tell you the name of the new road, Golden Says, but we've got to go to the news bulletin. It's Capital 100.4 FM, Harada's Upbeat.